Hey folks, happy you're welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. In this episode I'm going to work at my Suzuki Rf900r from '94. So the bike is at my parents' place. I just got around and have found some problem with the bike, and of course some service gonna be needed as well. She will receive a new oil filter, air filter, coolant, oil of course. That's part of the service. It's gonna need some kilometer, but just in case I'm gonna swap it. The things what wasn't planned is the tank patch. Unfortunately it got lost by time, so we're gonna get a new one. And unfortunately the rear brake O-rings are moved out, so the rear brake needs a rebuild as well. And then gonna get a new pad, a new oil as well. And what happened yet, the thermostat is stuck in open position, so that's also going to be replaced. And of course then I'm gonna refill with a fresh coolant at the same time. And yeah, a little bit the bearing steering is loose. I'm gonna tighten it a little bit, and I'm going to try to apply a phone holder for this bike as well. So let's start with the easiest one. Replace the tank patch and try to attach the phone holder first. Now the new tank pad is on. I hope it's gonna last longer than the previous one. And now I'm gonna move on to tighten up the steering bearing. It's gonna need just a little bit because they have really busy threads, so like a quarter is mostly enough, I hope. And then after I'm gonna attach the phone holder. Actually this is the same model that I did put at the 600, because this bike also has these bolts. And I'm just gonna loose this up and put underneath. It should be quick. And the electric part I'm gonna do later, when everything gonna be open up on the fairing for the thermostat. So first, let's get it done. I did tight on the steering bearing. I hope it's gonna be enough. The holder is on, and now it's adjustable. The electric part I'm gonna do later. So that side is also complete. Now I'm gonna move to the brake. I'm gonna take off the caliper, take out the pads, and then take it apart. Luckily it has still no any maybe a little bit already worn, but it's still gonna run at least one set of brake pads. So let's take it off. Now the brake is apart. As you can see, the O-rings are turned out and the pads got burned quite badly. Even the glue let it go. So it's gonna be needed this rebuild. Let's get it done. Now the O-rings are out. The two outers are in really bad shape because they've been out, of course. The cylinders aren't that bad, but I'm gonna give them a little bit of a polish. And of course here are loaded with dirts. That's what I'm going to need to do a good care of, to clean them out, and then can put back the new rings and can go back together. Now everything prepared. The pins are a little bit worn, but they still gonna make one pad. So now I'm gonna insert the O-rings, put everything back together, torque down, and then bleed out the system, and this side should be good to go. Now the caliper is back together. I did put in the new pads, put some copper grease at the pins. Now I'm just gonna install, hook up the line again, fill up with new brake fluid, and then bleed it, and we're gonna be good to go. Now the task is complete. No any leakage luckily, and the brake seems working really nicely. So excited already to go to the test ride. But this part is complete. Let's move to the front. So this is the new thermostat. Luckily it's in, and this one is supposed to go around here, so I have to open up the cover at this side to be able to check the thermostat. Maybe it's not even having it, but hopefully this will gonna solve the heating problem. So now I have to open up this part. So actually this is the thermostat house, but it's still with coolant, so I have to drop the level, yeah, because I'm gonna replace it with the new one. So it's actually gonna do two things at once. So for that I'm gonna open up this side for the water pump hose, and there that's the lowest point, and there then all the coolant gonna run out. Luckily I didn't need to remove the complete panel, just free up the bottom side, but I made a little bit of mess, but the coolant is off already. So now I can access the thermostat. Now the old is out. It has some rust marks. Maybe they haven't used the right coolant, probably for a short period or for a longer period. And now this is the new. I think maybe for the corrosion, because the bike was standing for a longer period, the coolant wasn't the right one. Maybe it just was simple water and it's got rusty. And now this is the new one, and time to go put it back, and hopefully this is gonna solve all the problem with the bike. Now the new thermostat is in. I did tighten up the bolts, did empty the reservoir, put back the hose. So now the next thing is to fill up the system and then start her up to bleed out the system. Meanwhile she's gonna run. I'm gonna put her back to be able to take out for a short spin to see. She's gonna warm up properly, and the ventilator gonna come on to be sure there is no problem with that either. So let's fill up the system and start her. So far so good. Now the temperature gauge is almost up for the horizontal level. Before it was like this low. So now I did drive for a little bit. Now I'm gonna wait for a while to let her cool down, and then we're gonna check the level. So now it's the next day, and actually I did look up, did try to find some details about this gauge, what are the measurements are. Unfortunately I didn't find too much about the scale itself, just the fan turning on points and the thermostat. But I did check a lot of videos about the same bike, and actually all of them had the same measurement. So I decided to not gonna do anything further with that. So that part is done by me, and the next thing is I'm gonna take in the electric wire for the charging system, and because I'm gonna remove the tank, I'm gonna replace the air filter as well, and I decided to keep this one as well. It's maybe gonna be good. I think it's the same also for the GSXR 750 as well. So I'm gonna try to clean it and then put it in a spare stock. But now I'm just gonna remove the tank, replace the air filter, and put in the new electric wire for the charging station. Now the air filter house is exposed. It's only 2 screws to lose them up and replace the filter. I think easy to guess which one is the old one. The new one is much more prettier, of course. That's definitely gonna help the bike to bleed much easier. So let's put it in. Now the air filter is swapped. Now time for the cable. I'm gonna try to pull somewhere around here to attach for the bike's harness itself, and then pull up over there. Maybe I'm gonna hide in it. I'm still not sure, but I'm gonna find a hiding spot for the switch actually. So let's try to pull in the cable. Now luckily the task is complete. I did hook up the electric wiring. I did add a voltmeter, which is 3 function: time, Celsius and voltage, and I added the switch. So when I turn on the ignition, nothing gonna happen. I have to press the switch. Now it's gonna turn on, and it's gonna activate the charger as well, and then the charging function is also active. So luckily this task is complete, and what left only to swap the oil. So for that I'm gonna warm up the bike. Now the last piece of the puzzle to swap the oil and the oil filter, and the task is complete. It's now gonna be really easy and quick. Let's get it done. Now the old filter and the old oil are out. The system is loaded already, so that means the task is complete. She's good to go again for a few thousand kilometers. So happy with the result. Things are working well. I cannot do anything anymore with it. So that's it for the episode, guys. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, then see you in the next one. Bye bye.